What's up, everyone? It is your girl Beaute87 here, aka Grace. I come again with my drink, cause my drink, she got a donk. She got a donk. Look at it. I just love this glass. That's why I keep showing it in videos. This is from this brand called Danessa Premium Glasses, I believe. It's Dezha. I follow it on Instagram. That's how I randomly found them, but I just think it's so cute. So whenever I have a cute little drink sitting by me, I will make sure I show off my cute little glass. So she has like body shot glasses with the same like body type to them, and then just regular glasses with this body type. She also has male shot glasses too, so they have like male body shapes to them. I thought they were so cool, so I had to shout them out. I found some other glasses from the brand, but I didn't sorry, movies out the way. I didn't show them, so you know. Anyway, that's not what you're here for. You are here for another episode of underrated versus overrated. So let's get into it. I got a few eyeshadow palettes I feel like are underrated versus overrated as far as the concepts go, because I feel like a lot of these palettes look similar to the other palettes, and I'm like, well, why don't you just buy this palette instead, because some of them limited edition, some of them are higher priced than the other ones. And so I just want to show you that there are alternatives to these palettes if you weren't necessarily wanting to spend the price that the palettes cost. So without further ado, let's get into it. I want to get into the Melt collection first, the ones that came out for holiday. So we have underrated versus overrated. So this is the Bad Side Zodiac palette. It's one fire from Melt Cosmetics, and then I have the Bronze Rustic palette from Juvia's Place. So I feel like these are pretty similar when it comes to tones, and if you're not necessarily crazy about warm tones anyway like I am, I feel like that the Juvia's Place will be a great alternative for you. As you can see, it's very nice. We know Juvia's Place is always on sale. Juvia's Place has great quality. Like these were on sale for $6 while I'm filming this video, and they have a 55% off sale now, so they might be less than $6. Don't quote me. I think they're normally 10. So it's an exceptional deal going on right now for this palette. And I feel like these are colors that you already have from Melt. So even if you're not a Melt person and you don't want to pay $34 just to try Melt, you can get the same color story from them for yes. So I feel like Melt has gotten a reputation of, you know, like having great eyeshadows, and they have their whole fan base and stand base and all that. And this was supposed to be for people who want to try their brand. But if you don't want to try their brand still at this price point, I feel like this is a good alternative for you. Plus, I just love Juvia's Place, and y'all know I'm a shout out a black owned brand whenever I can. Let's get to the next black owned brand. So the next underrated versus overrated is another Zodiac collection. This is my sign. I am a Scorpio, so I am part of the water signs. And I love the colors of this palette. However, it's like I can get these same colors from them in the Morte palette. So it's like I don't really need this palette, but you know, I got the Thunder palette here from Colored Rain, and I think this is only like a $25–$30 palette. And the color story in this is exceptional. Like, look how stunning and gorgeous this is, honey. Give it to Colored Rain. Give them all their props, okay? Give them all their props. Give them some coins, too, because this one is stunning. The form on this is really good. It's not like the Juicy Boost, because I know ever since Juicy Boost, people have been scared to touch it. But this is not like the Juicy Boost. I'm trying to tell you, girl, it's not. It is great quality. Not to say that this isn't good quality, because the quality on this is fine. It's just if you're a Melt person, you already have these colors, and you're looking to get a similar color story, or if you just, like I said on the last one, you want to try Melt, but you still think this price point is too high, check out the Colored Rain one. I think this is an exceptionally well done palette. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure I put this in my best palettes of 2022 video, just because, you know, it is a lovely blue monochromatic palette, and we know I am a blue, green, and purple monochromatic palette connoisseur, so I had to have it in my collection. So that's the next underrated versus overrated. I think I already gave y'all a battle on those two, if I'm correct. Don't quote me, I honestly don't remember. The last underrated versus overrated when it comes to this series, I didn't find one for the Air palette just because I had brought one with me in the past, and then I took it home and forgot which one it was, and I just didn't feel like trying to go home and dig through all that to film this later on when I can film it now. So we have the Barred palette from Fantasy Cosmetica versus the Earth palette from the Melt Cosmetics Bad Signs collection. So I'm happy to have both of these in my collection. And let's get to showing them off, girl. So, okay, so like I was saying, you got the Earth palette here, and then the Barred palette. So I know they're not exact, but I feel like they're close enough in color story to where it shouldn't matter. Like if you cover up this pink and this blue, you still have the green and all the other shades that are in this palette. So if anything, you just get extra pops of color by buying the Barred palette as opposed to the Melt Cosmetics palette, and you get to help a small business that's starting out, because this is only her 3rd palette from the brand. If you want a code, you can use code Cage Makeup when you buy from this brand. I know Karen has a code with them. I don't know if Beauty and the Frizz has one or not. If she did, I would tell you, but I know for a fact Karen has it, because I use Karen's code when I buy from this brand. So you can use Karen's code and save some coins, and it'll make the palette the same price as this, and you'll be helping a small business grow. Plus, if you're a Melt stan like I am, you already have these shades, you can grab your Gemini palette, you can grab your 420 palette, you can grab the Vita palette that came in with the holiday. I just named 3 palettes you can grab from the same brand of the collection. And if you didn't want to pay this high price still to try out Melt, again, another alternative to the palette. So that's why I keep doing these videos and showing you these alternatives. Because if you already have stuff in your collection, you don't necessarily need to get those things. Now let's get into a newer palette that just came out from a brand that to me looks really similar to a palette. And it's like I was sitting there doing something else, and it's like just clicked in my brain to show this palette in this video because I felt like it looked really similar. So underrated versus overrated. Now, not to say Huda's palette's overrated, but I mean, like, if you can get the ColourPop palette for less, obviously I'm going to encourage you to get the one that's easier on your wallet because of how times are, and that way you can still get similar color stories. So I feel like these color stories are similar. You can comment down below and tell me if you feel different. I feel like just got rid of the eggplant purple and gave us like this, you know, gray instead, but I feel like they look actually quite similar. And you will see these again in the old school versus new school. I actually put this palette to the test versus this palette, so I'll use this one on camera and I'll do this one separately. But I was excited to find this dude because I'm like, you know, this palette is like $67 now. They used to be $65, now it's $67. So I'm like, $67 versus, I'm pretty sure this palette is $18, is a whole lot cheaper. And then you can use somebody's code and get even less on it. I usually use Andrea Montanalo's code. I don't think Karen has a code, so I can't recommend Karen having a code, but I know I use Andrea Montanalo's code, and you can get I think it's 10 or 15% off on the brand. I think that's the amount, don't quote me, but anyway, you see how similar these are. I feel like you should definitely give this one a try. I'm absolutely loving the color story on this palette too, but you know, it makes sense and explains. The funny thing is I actually have this the Huda Beauty what is this, rose quartz on my eyes right now. I mix it in with the Wild Obsessions Jaguar palette, so that's what's going on with the eyes right now actually. So now I need to put these to the side for one of my old school versus new school videos of 2023, because that's a new series I'm starting, because I'm always trying to start a new series these nowadays. Okay, so the last palette I have as overrated versus underrated. Now again, it's not to say that this brand is necessarily overrated versus the other brand. It's just more of, I feel like this brand gets more hype, but this brand I'm going to talk about that's underrated kind of put themselves in the position to be underrated, because it's like you had a really nice product that you came out with that you had made for everybody. When it came time to make like the foundation for everybody, you fell short. So I feel like you know who I'm talking about. This underrated versus overrated is the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Eye Palette Smoky Eyes Are Forever against the Tarte Man Eater After Dark palette. So I had this on my eyes in another video recently, and I wanted to share this one with you all as far as color stories, because I feel like the color stories on these are actually quite similar, but I feel like the Tarte one gives you more colors and more tones to work with. But then again, this one's smaller, plus the price point is cheaper. I think this one's $54, and you see how many colors you get versus this one being $75. Now I know she always has overabundance of these, and you end up buying on sale the year after later, whatever. But I'm like, if you just want to get one palette that's really nice, compact, has a good quality shadow, has a lot for you to choose from if you're like my skin tone, because I feel like with this one she always has only maybe, she doesn't really have a transition shade for me, or if it's a super light transition shade I have to build it up quite a bit to fix stuff. So I feel like the Tarte Man Eater After Dark one will actually be a good alternative to this palette if you're someone with my skin tone, because I feel like she never gives enough shades for people my skin tone when it comes to transition shades. She just gives like general shades that we can use for outer V, and you have to put a shimmer on, and then you have to dig into your bronzer or something to make it work. So that's why I wanted to accent this one, because I feel like you get a lot of different tones for my skin tone. Like there's, and I never thought I'd be saying that about Tarte, mind you, but there's like this one right here that's a nice transition shade, and then if I want a more orangey transition shade, I can pick this one. Then there's more this cool tone shade I can pick as a transition shade. So I feel like they did a good job with transition shades for other skin tones besides the ones they normally pick, like these 3 shades down here. So I guess they finally got hip to the T. I mean, it took long enough, and it took them long enough to redeem themselves to even give you to buy anything, because I bought them. The only other thing I think I bought besides this from them recently was like the concealer, and that was when it was 50% off during the Ultra 21 Days of Beauty, but I haven't really rocked with them ever since that foundation came out like that. So I wanted to give them a shout out and, you know, let the black community know it might be okay to go over and like try and look at Tarte again, because they finally decided to get together. So yeah, those are all the overrated versus underrated products that I had to try. These two you will actually see live in action with me working with, along with these two, because they're going to be a part of my other new series. I've actually filmed the intro to these. I just need to leave them here and actually do the eye looks for them. So I'll be using the Man Eater one on camera, and I'll be using the Troublemaker one on camera, so you can see how all those worked out. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.